What if I told you that one story about a CEO could completely change the way you think about safety leadership? This is not just a theory. This actually changed how I see my role in health and safety. Most people believe safety culture is built by enforcing rules, running toolbox talks, and filling out checklists. And sure, all of those matters. But here is the truth that hit me like a brick. Policies don't build culture, but people do. And culture grows when people heard, not just managed. I didn't figure out this my own. This lesson came from the real story, in fact, the history of someone who was a CEO. In this video, I want to share a story and powerful leadership tips I learned from it. If you are a safety professional, supervisor, or someone in leadership, this might be the mindset shift you didn't know you needed. Let's get into it. One day, I was walking at site. It was a regular site inspection. I had my checklist, I had my PPE. I was doing everything by the safety plan. But then I walked past a worker grinding a metal piece without eye protection. Not once, twice, the same way, the same spot. I stopped him, corrected him, and gave a quick reminder of the risk. But something bugged me as I walked away. We had policies, training, signboards everywhere. So, why was the behavior still unsafe? And that's when it hit me. We have built a system that checks boxes but doesn't change behavior. That was the first time I realized culture isn't what you write down, it's what people believe when no one is watching. And I knew I needed to understand it better. I kept researching until I came across the story of a CEO, Paulo Neil. He was the CEO of Alcoa, the aluminum company of America. You will be surprised by knowing what happened in his inaugural meeting in 1987 when he joined the company. In most CEO inaugural meetings, you hear the usual buzzwords like increasing stakeholders' value, driving innovation, expanding market share, but not Paulo Neil. He stepped up and said, I want to talk about workers' safety. The room froze. Some thought he was joking, and he continued. Every year, numerous Alcoa workers are injured so badly that they miss a day of work. Our safety record is better than the general American workforce, especially considering that our employees work with metals that are 1500 degrees and machines that can rip a man's arm off. But it's not good enough. I intend to make Alcoa the safest company in America. I intend to go for zero injuries. People laughed. Some investors called him crazy. Stockbrokers even advised selling Alcoa stock. But he was serious. And what happened next? Everything changed. When he retired in the year 2000, after 13 years, the company's annual income was 5 times higher and its market capitalization had risen by $27 billion. He proved that a strong safety culture drives exceptional business results. But how? Before we dive deeper, let me introduce you a powerful concept that explains how Paulo Neil made safety an organizational habit. It's called the habit loop. Now, what's a habit? A habit is simply something that you do so often. Your brain goes on autopilot. You don't have to think about it, it just happens. A habit loop has 3 parts: trigger, routine, and reward. The loop starts with a trigger. Trigger is a signal your brain receives that tells, hey, it's time to do that thing you usually do. Routine is the action you do in response to the trigger. And reward is the benefit you get from doing that action. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, you are still tired. That's your trigger. You head straight to the kitchen and make yourself a hot cup of coffee. That's your routine. After a few sips, you feel awake, alert, and energetic and ready to start the day. That's your reward. And because your brain loves that reward, you repeat the routine again tomorrow and day after until it becomes your habit so that you do it automatically. That's how all habits are made, and it continues as autopilot on every day. Now, coming back to Paulo Neil, what kind of habit loop he built in the company? Here is the story. Alcoa had frequent workplace injuries. Colonial believed that to stop injuries, you first need to understand why they happen, where the manufacturing process is going wrong. And to do that, Alcoa brought in experts who could train workers on how to do their jobs in a better and more efficient way. Because when work is done in the right way, it's usually done safely too. He also believed you cannot force people to change just by giving orders, because that's not how the brain works. So instead, he decided to focus on just one thing, making sure every incident was reported and lessons were actually put into action using habit loop. He insisted and implemented an incident reporting system where if an incident happens, he should get the notification within 24 hours. That means if an accident happened in the plant room, floor supervisor reported to the production manager, who then reported to the plant manager, who then reported to operations and to the CEO with recommendations to prevent the same in the future. So everyone became accountable and responsible in their position to report, investigate, and take actions to eliminate the hazard which caused the injury. Here is how Colonial built Alcoa's safety habit loop. Trigger was an injury. Whenever someone got injured, even slightly, that was the trigger. Routine was reporting with a plan. The moment an injury happened, the unit president had to report it to Colonial within 24 hours and submit a plan to ensure it wouldn't happen again. Reward was promotions and recognitions. The only people who got promoted were the ones who embraced this system. Those who failed to report or didn't act fast, no reward, no growth. To make this work, Alcoa even redesigned its communication system. Even the lowest level worker could get a safety idea to top leadership fast. The simple habit loop transformed Alcoa, making it one of the safest and most profitable companies in the industry. And it all started with the CEO who said, "We are going to make safety a habit, not a rule." 6 months after joining, a tragic accident happened at one of the plants of Alcoa, where a young worker died while trying to repair a machine by crossing the safety barrier. In response, he promptly organized an emergency meeting with all executives to thoroughly review the incident. The team recreated the events with the diagrams and accurately examined the video footages repeatedly to identify the contributing factors. The investigation revealed multiple reasons that led to the unfortunate fatality. These include unsafe worker behavior, supervisors' failure to intervene upon witnessing the unsafe behavior, inadequate safety training, absence of sensors to automatically stop the machine if someone crossed the safety barriers, etc. Now, what happened is, instead of blaming, O'Neill took the responsibility of the fatal incident as his leadership failure and acted on the lesson learned. Within a week, all safety railings were painted in bright yellow color. Managers encouraged people not afraid to suggest proactive maintenance, and clear instructions have been given that no one should attempt any unsafe repair. Colonial even went further. He told workers, "If your management doesn't act on safety issue, call me at home." And yes, he gave them his personal number. And guess what? Workers started calling. But not just to report incidents. They had ideas: how to improve productivity, how to fix machines, how to make the work easier and safer, etc. And those ideas were taken seriously. If a machine was a problem, it got replaced. Managers who once resisted change now welcomed it. Workers were given the power to shut down production line if they felt something was unsafe. When safety became a habit, other changes followed fast. Suggestions of workers have solved the production problems, and productivity and profit increased. It wasn't just about safety, it was about trust. Trust leads to change. Colonial also demonstrated that the company values and beliefs should clearly guide the actions and the decisions. Here is the story. One day, Colonial heard from outside the company that there was health issue to the workers due to the inhalation of fumes in the factory. He checked, but no report had reached to the head office. So he launched an investigation. Yes, the incident happened, The situation was rectified by installing an extraction fan. But the plant executive didn't report the illness, thinking it was too small to report. 2 days later, that executive was fired, not because the incident was severe, but because, in Polonial words, it wasn't hard for me, it was clear what our values dictated. The real problem was in the few. The real failure was that no one else had the chance to learn from it. And he said, not sharing an opportunity to learn is a cardinal sin. That's truth, right? Every incident gives us something new to learn. So, what can we take from this? Culture grows by habits in any organization, whether leaders are aware or not, whether it is positive or negative. And safety culture is not built on rules, it's built on values. And when those values are backed by action, accountability, and trust, that's when culture becomes unstoppable. You can build a positive safety culture by driving positive habits, even if you are not a CEO. If this story inspired you or gave you something to think about, share it with your leaders. Don't miss my next video.